All right, guys, today I got a good one for you today. I got a nice surprise. This is a motorcycle I have wanted for, actually only haven't had one about like 3 or 4 months. Anyway, I traded it in. I missed it so much, I had to go and get another one. This is the bike that all your friends are gonna tell you is a girl's bike because they got masculinity problems. This is one of the coolest motorcycles Harley has ever produced, and they knew damn well it was cool. That is why they made it since 1957. And today, we're gonna be talking about the Harley Davidson Sportster. Finally got my first motorcycle back. Now this isn't the first one this isn't the actual first one that I had. It's another Sportster. This one's gonna be a 2012 Nightster. Basically the same thing.
What's the difference?
I don't think y'all really understand how cool the Sportster is. And that's what I want to talk about today is really the Sportster a girl's bike? I'm gonna start off by saying this. If you got a girl that you know that can start riding motorcycles and pick up this Harley right here, you need to let me know who she is so I can stay away from her because she sounds scary.
Woman, you're way too close!
Anyway, now with that today, I want to give y'all a little background on the Sportster, why I think it's one of the last Harleys that you can get. They're trying to get out of the just air-cooled motors and stuff like that, but God, do I miss that sound. And I just couldn't help myself when the opportunity came up to get one. I had to jump on it. Since 1957, these bikes have just been a staple in Harley's lineup due to their stripped down appearance, basic everything. It basically leaves the rider, the purchaser, a blank canvas to do whatever they want. I mean, even look at this bike already, the way that I just bought it. This thing's already been touched a lot. Remember what I said in one of my past vlogs where I said if you're gonna do anything to it and you know you're gonna get rid of it, do tasteful mods? Well, that's exactly what this guy did. The drag bars go with it, the speedo relocation to give it that sleek look up on top. It's got more of a cafe racer look to it opposed to my old Sportster, which kind of had like an old school chopper look to it. Now, personally, I dig this look. It's probably gonna stay like that. I dig it. But that's why a lot of people buy these motorcycles, because they are so easy to modify. They are so easy to get parts for. Modifying a Harley is already easy. I talked about that in my last video. This is even easier to just go crazy with, to do whatever you want to it. This thing doesn't even have a front fender. How many companies really make fenders that look like that? It's just crazy to me how a lot of these big companies too, we're not talking about 3D printed parts off of Amazon and we're talking about big companies here that make all these parts for these bikes. The aftermarket support for these, for any Harley, is crazy, but for these is just absolutely like nuts, really. Now, at the same time, I understand the name Sportster. It's not a very manly name, but why it has that name is pretty iconic in itself. Because back in the late 50s, when Europe was coming out with all of these more sporty kind of bikes, Harley wanted to keep up with the game. So they came out and made this, and this instantly became the go-to bike for a lot of motorcyclists who kind of wanted that sporty, nimble kind of feel on their motorcycles, because this thing's got small tire in the front, small tire in the back. This one, being an 883, doesn't have very much speed, but even back then, like, this was a ton of power, and it's nimble in the corners. That's why I really love riding these bikes, because they handle really, really good compared to basically any other Harley. You're not gonna get a feel much like one of these. Like this is like nothing in Harley's lineup.
That's why he's the GOAT!
Hold on.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
You're still wearing that Nike dry fit jacket out when you're riding?
What is wrong with you?
Go get a real jacket at First Manufacturing Co. Go get yourself something stylish. Go get you some gloves. Stay warm on that motorcycle. Keep your mind on the road, not on your nuts about to freeze off because you don't want to go buy a real motorcycle jacket. Go do it right now. Now, at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the 1200 of these Sportsters is any slouch. They're pretty damn fast, especially in the low end, especially when you take into account their weight. Now, my plans for this one, I don't really want to talk too much about what I want to do to it. I want to be able to record that with some surprises and stuff, but maybe later on down the road, she's going to be getting a nice engine upgrade. And let me just talk about those. When you toss some 1275 kits, some 1250 kits in here, man, these things are fun to ride. And that's what a lot of people kind of forget about with these, is they get like an 883, they realize it's a slouch, and they want out of the Sportster game. Dude, these are really cool bikes. Like even this 883 right here, this thing can still definitely get out of its own way if needed. These are just bikes like you go out, cruise, enjoy. Especially, like, I can't get over the sound of these bikes. They don't make them like this no more. The sound of the Evo engine is just the best. And I'm talking all this good about the Sportster also because that is one of the biggest gripes I see in my videos, is Harleys are expensive. Dude, this was like $4 grand. Looks good as hell. You're not gonna go very fast, but dude, this is as cool as it gets with getting into a Harley Davidson. We're not talking about no crusty, musty bike from the 80s. This is a 2012. This is like, what, like 13 years old now? You can't go wrong with the Sportster. Probably one of the most reliable platforms out there, easiest to build on, easiest to modify, and you can get all this for $4 grand.
Now, this is epic.
With that price point, we're competing with a lot of your Japanese brands and stuff like that. Sure, you could probably pick up another Japanese bike, but why would you want to? You can get the real deal right here, $4 grand all day long. And that's just always been the thing about the Sportster lineup, is they were always the kind of budget friendly way to get into a Harley Davidson and look damn good doing it. Like, I just can't get over the looks. Like, I'm kind of biased. It's my first motorcycle that I got. I probably went like 3 or 4 months and I couldn't take it anymore. I wanted another Sportster, and I don't know why, because like when I rode it, like everyone told me like it looked small, it was blah blah blah, that's a girl's bike. That kind of made me like want to get rid of it. It kind of also just told me like them, like the bike looks cool anyway. But that was one of my biggest things was, all right, I kind of learned how to ride, now I want to get into like the bigger, faster bikes. And I did, and I love my Fat Boy, but at the same time, like, this is just more raw. It's unrefined. Anyone who has a Milwaukee 8 knows what I'm talking about. Like, they are great engine platforms. They are definitely the fastest. They're going towards one of the most reliable, but everyone who's ridden a motorcycle with cable throttle, cable clutch, like everything is mechanical on this bike, and everyone who's ridden an older Harley, everyone who has one of these bikes can agree with me saying that it's just not the same. The feel of one of these new Harleys is just not the same as the mechanical feel of an older Harley, one of these Sportsters. It's just not the same. So do I think that the Harley Davidson Sportster is a girl's bike?
No, man. I believe you get your kick saying something like that.
This bike is one of the coolest Harleys. If you're over here telling your buddy with the Sportster is a girl's bike, I think you got some masculinity problems with you. Go ride one yourself. You cannot tell me that this is one of the coolest motorcycles ever. You have the fun factor, you have the agility, you have the customizability.
That's not even a word, and I agree with you.
To do whatever your heart desires on one of these motorcycles. You cannot get that with a lot of other bikes. And that is why the Sportster will forever be an iconic motorcycle. Even if they're rebranding it to fit another demographic, pick one of these up while they're still cheap, because I promise you these are gonna start going up in value. Thank y'all very much for checking out the video, and we'll see y'all next time.